Hello Smart Movers and welcome to Smart Move Insider, a place where we talk about fitness from within. My name is Sergio alongside head coach Bart, and today we're going to talk about CrossFit lingo. This episode is for you, no matter if you are a complete newbie or a seasoned athlete. If you just heard about CrossFit or you are an experienced CrossFitter, tune in to refresh your mind about some of the most common terms. So for many, CrossFit has like a secret code. There are several acronyms from which members know what to do in the workout and how to approach it. But way back in the days, do you remember your first encounter with these words?
Good question. No, honestly, we've been around it for so long now that I can't really remember that acronyms stood out back then. Can't say. The first thing I remember is that the workouts were named, but the acronyms itself, like, not really. Yeah, that I had to look what's shoulder to overhead, but it was written out in big shoulder to overhead. It was like, what's shoulder to overhead? And then I had to look it up, like, okay, it can be a strict press, a push press, a push jerk, but I didn't see it as STO or something.
S2O.
Yeah.
Or S, yeah. Yeah, I remember my first encounter was with the WOD, workout of the day.
Yeah.
This was the first thing that popped into my head. What are these guys doing in the WOD?
Yeah,
I said, I don't know enough English.
And if you're in it, you don't have the tendency to explain. You're just assuming everybody knows.
That's why I said, many people, even if they are very old in the gym, they would use a refreshen up of these words, especially for the WOD, because it's still spelled in Romanian, like wood.
Yeah. A lot of people say that wood, and I say no.
It's not wood, it's WOD, workout of the day. So let's dive into it. What's WOD anyway?
Just like you said, workout of the day. Originally, the workout of the day, it refers to what CrossFit would program every day on CrossFit.com. So that's why they literally said every day was a new workout. They would post it, and they've been posting a workout since 2001 for free, accessible for anybody. So you go to CrossFit.com, you're going to find a workout every day, a new one. And that's why, because every day they would post a workout, they would say, and the workout of today is, so the workout of the day is, and then tomorrow will be another one, and the workout of today is, and every day continues. So that's where it basically comes from the programming from the CrossFit headquarters, the original programming. But if you never went to this site, whoever is listening, I suggest you to check it out. A lot of other things besides the workout of the day. There are also a lot of other things that you can find on that site, like a list of all the hero workouts, a list of all the benchmark workouts, even a list of all the moves that we use in CrossFit, like a total list, and every move, if you click on it, you get a video with some explanation. A library of all kinds of articles about coaching, about training, about recovery, about health. So just a lot of interesting info, and also a section with all kinds of courses they organize and where. And then you have there also a section of the CrossFit Games. So the site by itself, besides the workout of the day, definitely worth checking out.
It's a lot of information. Imagine posting one workout a day since 2000s. It's a big bank of workouts over there.
Yeah, 2001, we're having 25 years almost of workouts there. Daily, well, not daily, because CrossFit will post 3 days of workout, 1 day of rest. 3 days of workout, 1 day of rest. That's their prescription that they're using. So to get back to what, it's a new workout every day, but it's not, it's leg day or chest day. Like in a commercial gym setting, because in a lot of times people that are new to CrossFit, they also ask me, what does this exercise do? For what body part is this workout? What is it focusing on? What muscle will it grow? Because people are still, because most of us come from a commercial gym, we enter in CrossFit and we're still thinking in that terms of I'm training body parts. But it's not specific like that. That's also not what you're going to find on CrossFit.com. It's not specific chest or leg day. In CrossFit, we do everything every day. It's like whole body. the goal is to develop the most general, the most well-rounded fitness as possible. So we don't do a training specifically for a body part, but we're trying to become the fittest athlete overall. So we're training, CrossFit is basically a general physical preparedness program. So we're training to be as well-rounded in anything. That can mean that you're basically preparing yourself for whatever challenge in life throws at you. That could be, I don't know, lifting the couch with your friend because he's moving, pulling yourself out of the pool, like in a muscle up to get out of the pool. It could be make a sprint to catch the last bus home. So we're training with things in mind, like we're just trying to be fit for life, not just to have bigger biceps. So, and that's the type of programming that you're going to find in any CrossFit gym, but in this case, especially on CrossFit.com. Some days we lift heavy, some days we lift light, sometimes we run, we jump, sometimes we bike, we row, we deadlift, clean, squat, we use barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, boxes, gymnastic rings, sometimes just own body weight. Some workouts are long and steady, most workouts are short and intense. Relative intense to your fitness level, because if you get good at what you do often. So if I go short and intense a lot, I get good at that. If I go only long and steady, I get good at that, but then I get bad at the opposite of it. So that's why programming in CrossFit, it's always focusing on trying to hit a little bit of everything. Short, medium, long workouts, lightweight, heavyweight, medium weight, varieties in our in our definition. Constantly varied functional movement done under relative high intensity, but it's varied, but doesn't mean it's random. There's like a little bit of thought behind the madness. So, like what I just said, making sure that you go long, you go short, you go heavy, you go light, you do body weight, you do a combination of things. So to get you exposed to as much things as possible, so you get a little bit of all the energy systems in your body attacked. Do you still remember those? What the names is of the energy systems? I'm always forgetting.
Phosphagen, lactate,
and then oxidative.
Oxidative.
Yeah. So the energy system that's
phosphagen is the fastest.
Yeah, for the fast sprint type, like a heavy lift, like explosive stuff. Then the on the other side of the spectrum is the slow and steady when we're going running, oxidative.
The oxidative.
And then in the middle, everything that's in the middle, medium, long, and not the most explosive. We're trying to hit a little bit of all the energy systems just to be ready for anything. Because like I said, if you only do one, you get good at one, but then the other two, if you then have to do that, you can't, your body's not ready for it. So
that's the whole discussion about high rocks. Getting good at certain exercises.
Yeah.
And that's why you can progress in that sport. That's why it's accessible, let's say.
Yeah.
But it's another topic.
But it's specializing a bit because it's more of a slow and steady type of thing and muscle endurance. It's not so much about the explosiveness.
But I used to tell the bodybuilders in between brackets when they were asking me, what is this exercise doing? I'm training chest, I'm training like back. I said, man, we are mostly doing multiple joint compound movements. It's not just a single movement and a single direction. It's multiple ways we are moving the weight. So it's wrong to think that this movement will attack just your legs. We're not doing such isolated movements just to hit your legs.
No big movement patterns. We will hit your legs in a way, but mostly CrossFit is not thinking about the aesthetics so much, but it's more thinking about developing, the 10 physical skills. What is that? In your cardiovascular endurance, your stamina, your strength, your flexibility, power, speed, and then a couple more. So the 10 physical skills, that's what we're trying to develop, and in different ways, and not necessarily indeed by doing specifically bicycles. Doesn't mean we never do, because for keeping pull-ups or butterfly pull-ups, some stronger biceps work might be handy. So We don't exclude anything, but when just not with the mindset of I'm training it to get bigger biceps. No, I'm training it to get more butterfly pull-ups. So it's a little bit of a different way.
And I remember what attracted me the most was the whole idea about always different and intense. Always different to me was like it's something really fun. I'm not getting bored, I'm not doing the same thing going on, like the linear progress you see into, let's say, bench press.
Yeah.
I used to like the daily challenges. I used to do better in the workout and suck on the other one because it's not in my skills. So
you get exposed to your weaknesses. You get confronted with your weaknesses by constantly having that variance, which keeps most of us motivated to improve because you again found something you're not so good at or not so efficient at. But to go back to your bench press example, the only advantage of this linear progress is that it might be boring, but it does work and you do see like results fast. But so that's one of the advantages of that, but it can become a bit monotone.
Yeah, true.
To hit body parts every week on Monday, you can play around with the exercises, but again, it's still I'm pumping my chest, I'm trying to get it bigger. It's not so dynamic, let's say. I just
heard the podcast with Dorian Yates, the Mr. Olympia, and he said that he was training 4 times a week for 1 hour when he was in his prime.
Very little for those times.
It's unbelievable for me, if you ask me, because I know the rest of the competitors in Mr. Olympia, how much they were training. But he says, bodybuilding is not an endurance sport, it's a muscle growth, hypertrophy sport. So if this was true, I was all the day in the gym. I would have been all the day in the gym, but it's not. And his way of training is pretty crazy. For example, he does 6 or 7 sets, including the warm-up for the chest. So he does 2 main sets for chest.
Okay.
Like horizontal and then inclined, and then he goes to shoulders for the top part. And he said 2 sets of going to the max, going to the epuizare maximum.
To full failure.
Yeah,
I think he did a lot of experimentation to find what works for him. Trial and error.
No internet, you just...
Yeah, we had that talk about already. Before now with the internet, you have so much. You have the info right at your fingertips. You just need to look for it and have the right sources.
Yeah, but to close the parenthesis for me was mind blowing because we are always thinking, even to this day, that more is better and go 2 hours in the gym and then you will be fit. But it's not true. It's the intent you put behind your training, the effort you put behind your nutrition, and the rest. The recovery. Yeah,
I've heard bodybuilders, I read books of them that they had a style of every 4 times a week, entire body, but every body part, 1 or 2 sets to failure. And with tempo, 3 seconds up, 3 seconds hold, 3 seconds down, but to full failure. And they also looked huge. So it's just another example. There are more ways than one to get to result.
Yeah, true.
But it's interesting.
So let's go back.
So back to CrossFit.com. So CrossFit.com is a way of programming that comes from the head office itself. Some CrossFit gyms will follow it. Most don't, but most boxes do their own programming, just like us. But the principle remains the same. Most of the time, do short, intense workouts and vary it. Do every day something else, and make sure that the order of things that it makes sense. So the body part, because I said we don't train body parts, but it could be that on Monday it was a lot of legs, then to make sure that on Tuesday maybe not so much legs, or if it's legs that it's body weight and not weighted back squats, to just have a bit of a logic in the programming. But short and intense, that's the main idea most of the time. Yeah, more acronyms, many acronyms when it comes to CrossFit. EMOM, what do you think when you hear EMOM?
First time I didn't know what to think when I saw EMOM. It was a strange combo of words. I remember we were even asking people, what do you think EMOM comes from? And they were like crickets, nobody knew from where. But for For our audience, EMOM is every minute on the minute. So EMOM, EMOM. These are the interval trainings that mostly we do for, I like to say, getting in a better shape faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, intervals work. It's been studied that can drive your cardio up with intervals. Slow and steady, of course, has its place also, like the zone 2 type of training, but intervals definitely, when I am training with beginners, I see that they can progress easy on it. So basically EMOM, like I say, is interval. It's a workout structure. It can be 2 movements, but it could also be much more. So an example of a 2 movement EMOM would be, for example, for 20 minutes, I'm gonna go minute 1 on 12 calorie row. Maybe that takes me 30 seconds. The rest of the minute I'm resting, so I have 30 seconds rest. When the clock beeps again, on minute 2, I do 10 calorie airbag. And I keep going back and forward until the 20 minutes is over. So that's one example. Another example could be, maybe I do more exercises. I do 40 minutes of EMOM. On minute 1 I do 10 box jumps, on minute 2 I do 15 calorie row, on minute 3 I do 10 alternating dumbbell snatches, and on minute 4 I do 10 burpees. The nice thing about EMOMs is it's all up to your imagination. The only thing I do on especially the long EMOMs is that if I have, like the example with 4 exercises, that I'm making sure that at least 2 of the exercises that you can finish it fast enough that at least you have 30 seconds rest, and then maybe the other 2 they can last up to 40 or 45 seconds of that minute, but that you don't, that's what I do, is that you don't put every exercise that you're going to be working 45 seconds and resting 15 seconds. You need to be in super good shape to be able to maintain that. So, but it's something that you can build on, so you can even do an EMOM where you do the exercise and say, I'm going to work maximum 30 seconds and then I'm going to rest 30 seconds. And over time, maybe you're going to move it to, I'm going to work 40 seconds of the minute and I'm going to rest 20 seconds. And as you get in better shape, that less time that you can recover, it starts to be enough to be able to repeat. And that's how you also start feeling that you get in better and better shape.
Or let's say you're trying to get better on your hang power clean.
For sure.
Or handstand push-up. You can do an EMOM of 10 minutes of 3 handstand push-ups. If you did today and everything went well, in the 10th minute you did your 3 strict, very good. Next time you do it in like a week or 2, you do 4 or you try 5.
Yeah.
Or you go from the middle, you go 1 more.
Yeah.
And this is the way you progress. Or if you remember, there is death by. Yeah. Death by is still an EMOM, right?
Yeah, it's an EMOM where it's an EMOM, yeah, for sure, where every round you do 1 rep more. In dead by you can
let's say burpees, death by burpees.
So minute 1, 1 burpee, minute 2, 2 burpees, minute 3, it's still easy. By the time we're at minute 12, we will do 12 and then the fun starts. That's why usually with certain exercises you would not necessarily start from 1, but you would say on minute 1, let's start at 6. So it would get challenging a bit faster, otherwise the first 10 minutes are going to be a bit too easy. But yeah, the principle is every minute add a rep, no matter where you start on minute 1.
And for who wants to try this out, you can do it with whatever movement you want. You can do it with pull-ups, with back squat, with anything.
Push-ups, anything.
By.
Anything.
And you go until failure, until you cannot do no more. And there are some pretty impressive videos online of people doing more than 30 burpees in a minute.
I think I saw Rarash also do in the past 26 or something when we did that by.
Yeah.
Where I at 16 or 17 was out.
Because it's a lot. Because it's not just reaching. So it's not just reaching once the 30. Because it's 25, 24, 20, and you did it more. It's a lot of volume behind it.
Isn't 1 to 10 already 55 reps or something?
Yeah, that's the point. To have volume.
Yeah.
Big volume.
And then the fun just starts and you're already 55 reps in and it's still feeling easy, but you're building volume. Yeah.
Exactly. So I used to remember this EMOM back in the days. I was trying to build resilience. Even in plank, I was trying to get my core stronger, and I was doing plank on the elbows, and then the second minute I was doing some kind of an L-sit, but it wasn't some kind of an L-sit because I couldn't keep my legs straight. but it was so painful.
Yeah, but like you said, it's can be used for cardio, like our first examples. It can be used for gymnastics, just to practice a little bit your gymnastics and try to get and focusing on the technique and adding more reps to get more efficient.
And we didn't mention the air bike. Just do an EMOM on the air bike.
I've done that.
And you do that
I've
quite
done a dead
often.
bike on the air bike with Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And you do this to get your cardio engine a bit bigger, because you can work with it. You work 20 seconds first, and then you rest 40 seconds for that minute.
Yeah.
And then you go higher and higher, and you get stronger and stronger. But the air bike is a different animal, right?
Yeah, you need to do it on a regular basis and then you get used to it. But if you don't do it often and you step on it, it's painful. But if you do it on a regular basis, you kind of get used to the pain because you know what to expect. But if there are some guys, for example, that are going to do the clash and they're always avoiding the airbag, and then they're going to be in a competition setting and it's going to be airbag, you're going to get a surprise of your life.
Yeah. What you're not accustomed to, it's a surprise.
It's a devil machine for sure.
Okay, so let's go over to the next one. So EMOM was the first one. Metcon is the second one most often used by people. What does Metcon mean?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times in front of the board, people hear us refer to Metcon. Metcon is metabolic conditioning. It's the cardio part of CrossFit.
Are you sure that it's not the Nike shoes?
Nike shoes. Maybe that's where they probably got.
I swear, people ask me, is this from Nike?
I think
Metcon?
it's instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Nike got it from CrossFit.
Imagine, yeah.
It's not a coincidence. They're trying to make advertising towards a CrossFitters audience. Of course, Metcon would have been. It's a good name for their shoe. So it's the metabolic conditioning. So the cardio of CrossFit, which is the heart of CrossFit.
But let me just get this clear. This is not the same as what, right?
No, what is the workout, which is every day something else. And metabolic conditioning, it's all the workouts together is metabolic conditioning. It's the cardio part that usually it's at the end.
So it's a part of the what?
It's a part. It can be two things. So if we have a heavy day, this is not metabolic conditioning. It's a heavy day. The other times where we do metabolic conditioning, we're putting elements together of, it could be from weightlifting, gymnastics, typical cardio like running or rowing. We're making rounds, or we're doing 20 minutes, we're doing 3 rounds for time, for example, or we're doing 20 minutes where we do as many rounds of 3 exercises, 2 exercises, 5 exercises as we can, and then you're gonna like be out of breath, so it's the cardio part. So both 5x5 back squat on Wednesday and 3 rounds of pull-ups, air squats and push-ups are both the workout of the day, but are not both Metcons. One is Metcon, meaning cardio, and the other one is lifting, meaning strength. So just as a side note. So metabolic conditioning is what we do mostly at CrossFit. We do more metabolic conditioning than we do heavy days. So heavy days is maybe once a week, or maybe you get some extra lifting in, but the real heavy lifting is like once a week. The rest is usually like more of accessory work, but not a real heavy day where the only thing we do in the entire hour is, for example, squatting or power cleaning. But most of the days we'll have a Metcon, so cardio. It can be a 5K run, it can be 30-minute rows, it can be a 100-meter sprint, can be a combo between gymnastics and weightlifting and all kinds of stuff, jumping on a box, doing pull-ups. It can be, what's for sure is that it will raise your heartbeat. Like we talked about before, sometimes they're short, sometimes they're medium long, sometimes they're long and steady. But one thing is for sure, every of these workouts is gonna work your cardiovascular system, work your endurance, because that's the goal for it, and build some resistance against fatigue, because in the beginning it's very hard, because people, when they're new to this, they sometimes get surprised on separate. Every exercise is very simple. Jump 6 times on the box, do 10 pull-ups, row for 250 meters. Separated, it's not that hard. but do them in under pressure of do 3 rounds as fast as you can. Now it becomes different, and this is something the body needs to adapt on. But the more you do it, the more resilient you get to it, and the easier you start recovering in the rest moments in between. I bet you also felt that in the beginning, that if you never were used to doing such an interval training with multiple exercises and the goal was not to stop or to rest as little as possible, it's a different animal than if you used to, I don't know, do 250 meter row and then rest 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. So we can go further. Next one would be AMRAP. This is a really nice one. As many reps or rounds as possible. AMRAP. AMRAP. I think this is a really nice one, and the first one that pops to mind is Cindy.
Yeah.
Cindy, for who doesn't know, is 20-minute AMRAP, in which you do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats. And you do as many as possible. And the records are pretty big. But if you can do, let's say, from 18 to 20, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, if you can do 1 per minute.
Yeah.
That's for me like the first goal to reach for. Improve until the point that you can do 1 per minute, and you're already going to be in pretty good shape to be able to do that, because it already will tell a lot about your muscle endurance and your general cardio if you can maintain that tempo, because you're going to work for 40 seconds if you're fast and recover in 20 seconds and then redo it. So yeah, that says a lot.
And many people think that AMRAP is the most intense structure from CrossFit still.
I don't agree.
But yeah, we know that it's not the same.
I don't agree. I suffer more in rounds because I push harder. I think AMRAP already directly, let's say, if you never did that specific AMRAP and you don't know what's coming, I think you will already pace yourself because you don't know what to expect. If you do Cindy multiple times, you know what to expect and you'll have a strategy, so you will have a certain pace from the beginning because you want to beat a certain score. But if you don't know, I think you hold back in the AMRAP. If it's the first time in that combo, I don't think it's more intense than if I say you need to do 5 rounds of the same combo as fast as possible.
I have the same opinion. I think for time is much more intense than AMRAP.
That's also why CrossFit prescribes that most of the time you should put workouts for time, mostly couplets and triplets, because those are the most intense. Like for example, 10-minute AMRAP, 10 deadlifts, 10 push-ups. Just keep going. And if you can put combinations together that don't interfere with each other, like a push and a pull, it means you can accumulate even more volume, because one exercise is not necessarily making the other one tired.
Yeah, exactly. It's avoiding the redundant movement, right?
Yeah, but sometimes redundant movements are also good, like a push into a push, just for the muscle endurance point of view, but then the intensity will not be so high because you're going to go to failure. But it's a different goal at that moment. But yeah, indeed, most of the time, yeah, don't put redundant movements together just to increase the intensity, because the goal of an AMRAP in the end is to maximize your time by raising the intensity. So maximizing your time meaning, okay, it's short. Okay, we're going to do 10 minutes, but to do 10 minutes, you're trying to raise the intensity. People don't have so much time, so we were trying to be as efficient as possible. And it's short, so it allows you to work harder because you know it's a short time. In this example of 10 minutes, you know it's gonna be fast over, so you'll push a bit harder. But if I tell you it's a 30-minute AMRAP, we're again in a different story. You know it's gonna be more of a grindy workout.
It's way different, yeah.
So yeah, instead of doing a set of bench presses and then sitting 2 minutes on your phone, you basically put a combination of any exercises you want. It doesn't necessarily need to be typical CrossFit exercises. Put the exercises behind each other and just keep doing them in rotation and step from exercise to exercise and move through the reps. It's going to push the intensity up and you're going to accumulate a lot of volume in a very short period, which will also force your muscle to failure and also to growth.
Yeah, and I think AMRAP is a good tool to use in benchmark workouts. So for example, you did Cindy this summer and you had a score of 15 rounds. It was your first encounter you know that in 6 months, if we're gonna redo the workout to see our performance, you need to do 16. You need to push a bit more. That's the purpose of it. If you were consistent in the gym,
you can make a calculation to see how fast per round do I need to go to reach 16, and then you can know a bit. Okay, I have a minute and maybe 20 seconds. I keep at that tempo from round to round. If I can keep that tempo, I'm going to reach my goal of 16. And then 3 months later, do it again. Now my goal is 17.
Yeah, like reverse engineering.
I think, and basically what you're saying is that AMRAPs can give you a big sense of accomplishment, because you have something to aim for, and if you then have something to aim for, and if you can push yourself mentally past it, it will give you a big satisfaction. So it's some training on mental strength, and it's very rewarding because you're surpassing yourself. So the AMRAP leaves the road open very easily to get that big accomplishment if you make it.
Yep.
I put one here in between that maybe wasn't on your list, Tabata.
Tabata, yeah.
Because AMRAP, Dead By, EMOM, and then Tabata is also... Maybe you can explain Tabata.
Tabata, from what I remember, is 8 rounds of 10 seconds work, 20 seconds rest, or vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah. In the original version, because you can play around with it, but in the original version, yeah, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off.
Yeah, maybe I remember this because I was doing in gymnastics, so the work was shorter than the rest, because I cannot do. I remember I was doing Tabata in the L-sit.
Makes sense there, not to do 20 seconds L-sit.
20 second work and then 10 seconds rest.
So that will make it 4 minutes of work in total. You can do this with one exercise, any exercise you think of, but we have like a benchmark workout called Tabata something else, and then we do Tabata with 4 exercises. Pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, and then air squats. That's like a typical body weight Tabata. You will do the 8 rounds of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, so 4 minutes in total on the first exercise, then you go to the second, then you go to the third, then you go to the fourth, and then your score will be all the reps you did over those 16 minutes.
I remember we used to put the song of Tabata in these workouts, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since we did this.
Yeah. Reminds me I should put it one of these weeks. It's a good benchmark. But also there, you can put any exercise you want in essence. There was a time, maybe 10 years ago, that Matt Fraser was doing a Tabata where he had 8 stations, and every station he would work 20 seconds, 10 seconds off, and he would just rotate through. Okay, sit-ups, power cleans, snatches, so you can be inventive with it. And the good thing, what I like about Tabata is that even on the days that life gets in between, you can't reach the gym, you can always do a Tabata. So people that are saying, I didn't have time to work out, and I don't have, and I couldn't reach the gym, you can go at home and say, first 4 minutes Tabata burpees, do push-ups, do sit-ups. If the getting work in is really a priority, doing this for 1, 2, 3 or 4 exercises, so 4 minutes to 16 minutes of total workout, it's still fitness in plus than not doing anything. So don't make excuses. If you really would want to, you can do something at home, or you can go outside and do this. You can do this outside, easy, air squats outside. Go to the basketball court, Tabata, okay, suicide runs, 20 seconds suicide runs, 10 seconds rest, 20 seconds suicide runs, 10 seconds rest. Then afterwards do some air squats, then afterwards do I don't know what. There is one of those machines there in the park where they have those machines where you do assisted pull-ups. Go sit on that machine, 20 seconds, maximum reps, 10 seconds rest. You can do things if you want to.
Just get the fitness in.
Yeah, something. It's always better than nothing.
And it's pretty fun. The Tabata one is pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
And it's the nice part is that you have the rest built in. You don't need to rest more or don't rest at all, because that's easy on your mind.
This is what also makes the challenge, that the rest is limited. So no matter if you're tired, you need to force yourself. When it says 3, 2, 1, go again for 20 seconds, then we rest again. Like, it's nice because maybe if you wouldn't do it, you take bigger breaks. So it forces you a bit to search your limits.
Awesome. So let's go further. The next one that people see and they don't have no idea what it means is TTB, toes to bar. And let's put the next one in also, SDHP, sumo deadlift high pull. The first time that you're in a CrossFit class and you see TTB or SDHP, you don't know what the hell is that. Yeah.
Till they demo it, huh? And then they say T2B, your toes to bar. Okay, gymnastic movement. We hang on the bar. We do a kip swing. Both feet touch the bar between our hands. Okay, then it makes sense. But yeah, CrossFit with their abbreviations just to make things faster. They're too lazy to write the full word apparently.
Yeah, and it can go in very deep in abbreviation. Everything can be like, okay, you do PU pull-ups.
PP I've also seen, push press.
SU single unders,
Yeah,
sit-ups.
yeah. But yeah, if you come in new from the street to CrossFit, you're like, what's with these letters on the... And they're not always... they're sometimes a bit shy to ask. But then they figure it out once we start demoing it.
So to explain a bit, toes to bar are the gymnastic movement that you just said, where you hang on a bar and then you swing your legs until you can touch with both tiptoes of your feet the bar. And sumo deadlift high pull is a sumo stance deadlift, and your narrow stance or narrow grip with the hands, and you pull the bar from the ground up until your chin, as fast as possible, as explosive as possible, but it needs a bit of coaching. The sumo deadlift high pull is a pretty technical move.
It's hard on the coordination,
yeah.
Because you're supposed to use the power of your legs and the explosion of your hips to accelerate the bar, and then that speed that you created will then be finished with the arms. But it's first the lower body that creates it, and then the arms go from straight till elbows up and high, and that the coordination between lower body and upper body needs some practice with some drills.
Exactly. And toes to bar are not easy accessible for anybody.
No.
It's a pretty demanding movement, mobility and strength wise. So instead of toes to bar, we often do sit-ups.
Yeah.
Or
another core exercise, maybe V-ups or planks, or we switch them out. It depends until people get a bit the hang of the kip swing and get to a kipping knee raise at least. But as long as they cannot do that, we find another core exercise.
Okay, so what does it mean 1 RM?
1 RM stands for a 1 rep max, so that's for the strength lifts. So any strength lift can have a 1 RM. It's the maximum weight you can lift with good technique for that particular move.
Or poor technique.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
In some case, a deadlift is a good example of an exercise that with poor technique you could probably pull a 1 rep max. If it's a good idea, that's another thing. With most exercises, strict press, you could overarch. But for safety purpose, go for a technical 1 RM. Make it look good, because in my opinion, 1 RMs are test moments. I don't program them very often, maybe 2 times a year, for that reason, because it's a moment of testing and you don't need to test yourself on your strength all the time, because you're playing with the edge of seeing what you're maximum capable of, and that opens the door to injury. That's why don't try to do an all-out 1 rep max, but stay to a technical 1 rep max, even if that means that's 5 kilograms less. But you need to be aware that you're playing with a thin line of doing too much, so it can be easily go to too much. And if then you pull a deadlift with a rounded back, you might regret that the day after. So we do test 1 rep maxes 2 times a year, because sometimes in the programming I'll do 5 sets of 3 at 80% of your 1 rep max, or 85. Because we can get strong. To get stronger, we don't need to do the heaviest you can do all the time. We're getting stronger when we lift 80 to 85% plus for more than 1 rep. That's how we get stronger. So if I can get stronger and I can get my 90% to 3 or 4 reps, I can guarantee your 1 rep max is going up. But with the with the advantage is that you're not playing so close to the edge. If you're 85-90% or 80%, you're doing more reps, and you have also a safety net in, because imagine I have to do 5 reps at 80%. If after rep 3 I'm already struggling, I can just put it down. If I do, and avoid the injury by doing rep 4 and 5 with bad technique, in comparison to a 1 rep max, if I pull it and I pull it with bad technique and I keep pulling it, there is no safety there. It's you pull it or you don't pull it. At least if I'm doing 5 reps at close to maximum weight, I can still have a couple of reps in the tank and keep myself safe and still get stronger. So still get the benefits.
That's a good one. So 1 RM is 1 rep max. So what's RX?
Yeah, that's also a popular word, RX. And when people are new to the gym, I see them push the RX button, and then you can see by the explanation in their text that they don't really understand what RX means. So RX means as prescribed, so meaning whatever you see on the board, exactly how it's written, exactly that exercise, exactly with that weight. If you do the workout exactly like that, in that volume, literal word by word how it's written, then you can push the RX button. Then you did the workout RX in its hardest version. If you make any change on the workout volume, you change from a pull-up to a banded pull-up, you do a ring row but you're not all the way under, but you're in an angle because you walked backwards, you took less weight than what's written on the board, it says it's 100 kilogram deadlifts and you did it with 80, any change you make makes it, you scaled the workout, you didn't do it as prescribed. And you need to keep on working on your weaknesses until you get the skills, or until you get more strength, or maybe until you get more cardio, or a bit more indeed technique, and eventually over time you'll get closer and closer to doing more workouts RX.
So RX is a button that all the cool kids press.
Yeah.
It's a special club.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people that indeed, I get it, the goal is to be able to do every workout RX. Then you know you have the skills, you have the strength, you have the cardio, you have the capacity. It means something if you can start doing all the workouts RX. There is some work behind that. But scaling is the road towards RX. So scale smartly, show up to training on a regular basis, work on your skills that are maybe lacking, and you'll get closer and closer to doing more and more workouts RX.
So RX is prescribed and scaled. Scaled is the version that you can do it in your actual state.
And most people should scale, honestly. Most people should scale. It takes a long time before you can do on a daily basis the workouts RX. And I don't do all the workouts RX either. Depends on my weaknesses and strengths.
That's why back in the days they were saying leave your ego at the door. So you take the smaller weight if today it's a better movement pattern for you.
Exactly, yeah. Nobody cares. And it's like that by making small steps. I use a 20 kilogram dumbbell, or I lose a 15 today. In a couple of months I'm at the 17. A couple of months I work my way to the 20. And a year from now I do the 22.5, which was today's RX on the dumbbell snatches. Small steps. Don't try to go from 15 directly to 22.
I think this is the way. The journey is what's nice about it, is not the end goal.
Yeah.
So just imagine you come into the gym and you were moving 5 kilos and now the next day you're moving 22.5. It's not the same. It's not the same. The journey is the most fun one. So what's a PR then? Or PB?
Is it personal record or PB, personal best? Yeah, it's a record. It can be a record on anything. It can be I lifted more on a deadlift, or I run my 1 mile test faster than I did when I tested it 4 months ago, or I did the Cindy and instead of 15 rounds now I reached 16 rounds. So it applies to any progress, but to be able to know that progress, it means that you need to be logging your daily workout results. So you log whatever we did a set of maximum pull-ups, how many did you do, we did some deadlifts, how much weight did you use, how fast did you finish the 3 rounds of push-ups and deadlifts today. Note down your score, so then over time you can see if you will have a PB or a personal record, because you noted it down, you can see in your history and you know what you're going to try to beat. and then if you beat it, you have a personal record, something to be proud of.
Isn't this brings much about rep max, PB, rep max, PR? Isn't it quite the same thing?
A rep max? Yeah, one rep max.
It's not the same like one rep max or one PR.
Yeah, PR, but the PR can be a one rep max is only related to lifting, to strength. But the PR can be related to strength, but the PR can also be related to I can PR a Metcon, I can PR something cardio-wise, so I can PR something gymnastics, maximum double unders. I did 100 instead of 85 the last time. So the PR can mean all the facets of fitness that you improve on.
I think I heard once that PR is a rep max but uglier.
Yeah, okay.
A bit uglier, because when you're PB, when you're PR, the weight is not like the technical weight you would lift.
It's implying that you do whatever it takes to reach it. It can happen, Only the very best, like at top level athletes, their heaviest clean still looks the same as their 75%. Their technique doesn't change, so these are like the specialists. They can make their heaviest look like, it looks like they can do more, but they say no, this is the limit. But technique wise it looked almost the same.
Okay, so let's go over some not so common, or if you have more on the list of common, we can talk about it, or I'm going to go for that.
Or the chipper is also one that we still have.
Yeah, the chipper is, but it's like in between the common and not so common.
Yeah.
Because we don't use, it's like a technical term. We know it inside coaching, but not as much in the gym.
We don't say it out loud too much. This is a chipper workout, although we use plenty of chipper workouts. How
would you define it to the people? What's chipper?
A chipper workout, I would define it as it's a list of exercises, usually 4 or more, where you go from the top all the way through till the bottom, and then it's over. It could be, for example, I don't know, what is it, Angie, 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 air squats. You finish your 100 pull-ups, then you go to the next exercise. You finish the second exercise, all the reps, then you go to the next exercise. It could be 4 exercises, it could be 10, like we did Filthy 50 this week, 10 exercises of each 50 reps. That's a typical chipper. You go from the top all the way till the bottom, and then it's done. You chip your way through the workout, one exercise, one rep at a time, one exercise at a time. Chip your way through, slow and steady.
I remember that story of Dave Castro, I think, that said that imagine you have like a big machine that you roll, and you put little balls inside, like in a bingo, and every ball has a movement, and you roll, and then one ball comes out, and you have one movement. And you do this multiple times, and then you have 8 movements, and you just put in the reps. And then once you finish one, you're never going to do it again.
One exercise is done, it's over for that workout. You go to the next.
You finish it, The hopper was the term for that.
Yeah, hopper model.
Cool. So for the not so common one that we use, but we use quite often in the gym, it's overhead squat, OHS.
Yeah, I sometimes write it, but I must admit that to avoid confusion, often in the Metcon I write just the full word. But sometimes, because when I'm typing fast, I still just put OHS. But yeah, it's a typical one. The same with sometimes I write BSQ, back squat. But usually I write the full word, just not to have any confusion.
So overhead squat is the movement with one barbell over the head, wide stance of the hands, wide grip, and then you go in a full squat.
Yeah, the base of the snatch.
And the next one would be GHD, sit-ups.
Yeah, I bet most people won't know that.
Because
we don't have it at Unomai. We have a GHD machine at Bererie, but we use it only for the personal training. It's like a machine. It's the big ass machine you see standing in the corner, where you can put your belly on and do back raises, or you can sit with your ass on and you can lean back, touch the floor, and do a sit-up. when you do that version for the first time, don't do too much volume, stop after 20 reps, because if it's your first time, you're probably going to be a muscle pain even from 20 reps.
Yeah, it's a dangerous machine. If you don't do it often, it might get you sectioned.
Yeah, you will feel all the ab muscles you have from all the way in the bottom till all the way at the top for a couple of days, if the first time you do too much volume.
Yeah. Another one that we don't use this often is MU,
Yeah.
muscle up.
Yeah, because if we do muscle ups, we usually tell the people that can do muscle ups, we tell them person to person, okay, instead of 10 pull-ups, do 5 muscle ups instead in this workout.
Because the most majority, we do the scaled version of the muscle up, pull-ups or
pull-ups or a combination of dips and pull-ups, yeah. So that's why because majority of people is in that category, that's why that usually is the RX workout, and the RX Plus to the couple that can do muscle ups, we tell them separate. So that's why you don't see it on the board as an MU, because I never write it, only in the coach's notes.
Exactly. But anyway, acronyms are like just the first letter of the moves. So it can go crazy.
HRPU, that one I sometimes put, hand release push-ups.
It's a really long
because
word.
The hand release push-ups is such a long word that I do go for the HRPU.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to think, when I didn't use it for a long time, to think, what's that again? HRPU, and then indeed I start dissecting it, first letter of the word, H, hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think CrossFit uses acronyms for, mostly?
I think one reason for sure is that the guy that writes the programming, just to make it easier, to not have to write the entire thing anymore.
And if you do it the old way, you have a whiteboard, and you write the workout on a thing. So
for sure,
when you write it,
yeah.
you need to not waste so much time in writing the full word.
And not too much space, because you only have so much space on the whiteboard. Yeah, for sure, that's where it. I didn't even think of that, but for sure that's where it also came from.
We don't use a whiteboard, that's why.
Yeah, I just type it.
Many people do.
Yeah, but
and on the whiteboard, it has like a right section or left section, whereas the leaderboard of the day.
Yeah, you still need to write all the scores, so you don't have much space.
Yeah, so that was a really nice part of having a whiteboard, that you see the people what they did that day. But now we see it on Modify, on an app, and it's pretty nice to see. You can like it, put a video, put a photo. Yeah, so let's go back.
I think for the rest, I guess it also becomes a bit of an inside language that we, like we said before, sometimes you're using terms that you're so used to, but then when a new person hears them, it sounds like you're speaking Chinese, so you have a kind of an inside language going on. Even with the benchmark workouts, when somebody asks you about your friend time, if the friend that doesn't do CrossFit hears that, he's like, your what? Your friend time? But yeah, the CrossFitter knows 2159 pull-ups and thrusters, his friend. So he's asking me how fast I can do that workout. I think it makes things also easier to talk about. I don't need to explain you the entire workout. If I say how did Merv go, you know what I'm talking about, and you're gonna tell me, the last run was really challenging. It's a bit of an inside language. You won't speak like that, of course. And the HRPU were very heavy today, but that's more of a whiteboard thing. But with the terms and the Metcon and the words like AMRAP and the EMOM, that's things that can go into normal conversation, because the person that talking about it knows the entire thing behind it. What is an EMOM? How many exercises were there? What's an AMRAP? What's a for time? What's the Metcon? So when we're talking about how was the Metcon today, inside CrossFit, we know to each other what we're talking about.
Exactly. You said it quite good. So it's an inside language of belonging into a community. I like that a lot. I'm curious for our listeners, what were for them the first words they encountered and were completely blank? What the fuck is this meaning? I would be very curious to find out. Do you remember any funny story from back in the days when you did a workout and you fucked it up or misread it?
No, nothing directly related to abbreviations or acronyms.
I have one. I remember I was doing the famous structure of 21-15-9, and there were 3 movements, and I thought, and I remember I was getting it from the CrossFit journal. So I got the workout out, I went with a friend, and we did 21 of the first movement, 15 from the second movement, 9 from the third movement, and we're done. And everybody in the comments were like, fuck, this was heavy. I said, we're pretty fit.
You must be in very good shape. I didn't feel a thing.
Yes, that was something that I have messed it up, but this is like 10 years ago.
I was like, okay, you just did 1/3 of the workout.
Yeah.
100 more reps to go.
Exactly. So every time it's a fun story to think about when I'm hearing somebody not knowing what abbreviation is. Cool. So in closing, I would like to ask our audience if they have any acronym that they do not know what it means, so we can explain them. Yeah, we can dive into it. And yeah, like always, keep in contact with us. Let's start the conversation. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, please write us on email info@smartmovecrossfit.ro or shoot us a message on Instagram or at smartmovecrossfit. If you want to find out more about the two of us, you can find our details into the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.